All right, let's do this and get this over with. I'm Eric Paul Johnson.
And I'm Eric Wincentsen. And he's shoving his hand up a fish butt.
No, I thought
Oh,
I'd save the viewers from watching me wipe boogers off my nose. I
oh, okay.
I hate spring, and not just for allergies. Always called spring the gateway to hell because after spring comes summer. Although not so bad here in Illinois, but still, when you've been through 38 years of brutal heat, the PTSD sticks with a person for a while. I never miss Phoenix.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, well, it's going to be about 74 today.
And yeah, it's April, so in about a couple weeks, it's going to be 100, and then the next
Oh,
day will
that,
be
that
a
was last week.
yeah,
It was about 97.
yeah. Well, brutal heat is coming really, really soon, and it's going to hang around till about November. So, and I don't miss it.
Ah,
Um,
so you'll find reasons to be down here this summer.
am I going to be winning the lottery? Are one of my parents or both of them going to die? Because I think that's the only thing that's going to get me to Phoenix between April and the end of October.
Lego set available only at Legoland at Arizona Mills Mall.
Well, let's see. There's the airplane tickets there and back. I bet you the set's going to be pricey. We're not pulling in enough Patreons for me to do that. So, oh, I thought you were going to ask me to help you move.
Oh, no.
No, you get some big, strong people to move all those records behind you, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. No, with that I need manly men, big, huge, sweaty, shirtless, manly men to do manly things
yeah, and that ain't me.
and in a completely in a completely hetero way, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. That's why people buy those muscle magazines is because they're interested in working out.
That's right.
Yep.
Um, give us money down there. PayPal, Patreon, uh, PO Box. Um, to get enough money.
Subscribe button, hit the bell for
Subscribe, hit the bell.
notifications.
Oh, my bell's downstairs. We get enough regular income coming in from the podcast by June. We'll keep going and do you know, move, idle race, Jeff Lynne solo stuff, Bevan, Violinski, the orchestra, whatever. I believe Richard Tandy
Electric Light
does.
Orchestra, uh, Electric Light Orchestra featuring Phil Bates.
Sure, I guess maybe we'll see if we still get money by then. Anyway,
He'll be owing some money by then, probably.
yeah,
Anyway,
we have new subscribers. Stephen Brown and Polaxaurus. They subscribe to the YouTube page. And we're up to 200 something. I didn't look last night or this morning, but we cleared 200, so that's good.
cool.
And we got a lot of comments, understandably. But first, here are a couple of comments from last week's Zoomcast.
Corey Gomel says, "My hair loss. I cannot believe you went there." Well, obviously something went a long time ago. Oh no. At least something did. You did it again. Parenthetically. Help, help. I'm being repressed.
Yep, it's tough to be bald. People make jokes about you, and that's why I never did it. I'm gonna be 53 in a month, and all this hair still here.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. All right. Okay, that's enough teasing. Um, MJ wrote this. Oh, this is his reply about our reply to his reply to the episode of Pods Like Us, where me and Eric were on there discussing the podcast. So go look for it. Pods Like Us. Face the Music and Electric Light Orchestra Song by Song podcast. I don't remember what the title of it is, but you'll, scroll through their show list. It should be
Oh,
pretty
Pods
obvious
Like
which
Us?
one is
Yeah.
ours.
Mhm.
MJ, I was kept very much awake by the podcast and thoroughly enjoyed it. I listened to it in 3 stints, hence the light bulb moment of Jeff's recent output. Was it a complete accident that your interviewer had a strong Birmingham, West Midlands accent? Couldn't help chuckle at the irony on that one. No, he was genuine. He's actually
Yeah.
from there. Okay. Now, we got a lot of comments about last week's episode, Down Came the Rain. And we should probably plow through these.
And I think a few people think it was Down Went the Show.
Yeah.
I was, oh, so this was my comment.
Yes, first up, we got a comment from Eric Wincentsen.
I was not in on anything after the main discussion, so I doubled over laughing once she came on and said, "Got anything to say about?" This was the biggest laugh I have had in forever. Well done. We're going to get hate mail on this one.
Well, I thought it would be amusing. I didn't know it would be that funny, but that's good that people, well, at least one person laughed.
Yeah, well, it was a surprise because I expected to go into the Down Came the Rain discussion, and all of a sudden, that's
Yeah,
something to say about Sweet Georgia Brown.
yeah. Well, when you're working in the production bubble, you kind of don't really see how it's going to be received so much. At least you don't really see the joke so much when you're so deep into putting together the joke. As for
Mhm.
hate mail, yeah, I pretty much figured we're going to get some hate mail from this. You know, don't mess with ELO. Apparently,
Exactly.
yep. Jib Khan, down came sweet Georgia Brown, and it did go down.
Rob Evans says, my favorite song on the album, and one of the few ELO-ish songs Jeff has made since Secret Messages. For fans longing for a new ELO song to sound like Out of the Blue, this is as close as we will probably ever get. The overdubbed ringing guitars are reminiscent of Sweet Talkin' Woman, especially at the 2:30 mark. Sorry, guys, but this episode missed the mark, in my opinion. The bad news is it was your Marston Moore. The good news is it can only get better from here, but the remaining songs on From Out of Nowhere will not.
I'll take it as a compliment this is our Marston Moore episode because at least Marston Moore was a dumpster fire you couldn't look away from, you couldn't ignore,
Mm-hmm.
unlike a lot of songs from Jeff in the last 10, 15 years or so.
I stand by what I said on it, just repeating the same line over and over again. It worked with Sweet Talkin' Woman because the music behind it was actually good
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Some of the music, I think my biggest disappointment on Down Came the Rain was the music started off good, and then all of a sudden it just falls off a cliff. And we just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It's as if he's laying there at the bottom of the cliff. Down came the rain. Down came the rain.
Yeah, just down came the rain, down came the rain, down came the rain. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not hearing Out of the Blue in it. Well, people heard the episode, so they know what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Slower Than You Racing, and you is spelled EWE. One of the YouTube viewers. One of my faves of the new records. Okay.
And Mike Maddox says, love this podcast. for only the second time I remember throughout this journey, you guys lost me this week. A normal podcast seemed like it went off the rails. I'll be back next week for sure.
Well, I'm glad you're one of those people that doesn't judge an entire podcast series on one single episode. I mean, sure, I'm sure you've been through the show enough to know that I had my little tantrum, and we'll get back to the regular shows after this. Jeff Ledford. I have to say, this is by far your worst episode. Thoroughly got lost with your commentary. Certainly don't believe this is close to the best song that Jeff has ever done, but it is nowhere near as bad as you guys make it out to be. No, it's not the worst song. It's not Caught in a Trap or, I don't know, pick any B-side from Out of the Blue. Not Out of the Blue. Balance of Power. Pick any B-side from Balance of Power. Yeah, I've mentioned songs that there is a small list of songs, of ELO songs that I have said, this is the worst ELO song. I wouldn't say Down by the Rain is the worst. Down by the Rain? Whatever. I don't care. Let's just get through this so I can load up on Sudafed or Benadryl or something. I wouldn't say Down Came the Rain is the worst ELO song ever. I think just by this point, I'm tired of hearing that same type of sound again and again, which I've said again and again. And if you're tired of hearing it, well, don't worry. It's going to be over, what, month and a half? And so you'll all be spared.
Yep. And we review other famous songs from the 40s. And no, just kidding.
Honestly, I did kind of like have an idea. What if we did a podcast series where we, discussed the history of famous songs and where they came from and that kind of thing? And I thought,
I was going to mention that to you after we did this because I actually kind of enjoyed doing that.
well, see, it's that one and uh, I don't know, whatever the one, Fault Line or whatever I think it was. Or maybe it was another one where it pulled from Midnight
Hank
Special
Williams,
and Hank
Hole in the
Williams.
Bucket.
Because I mean, I enjoyed listening to that one, and I enjoyed listening to Down Came the Rain when we veered off into um, Sweet Georgia Brown. I was thinking, well, what if we did a podcast where we? And then I thought, do I really want to do that much research every week? So I like the idea. I don't think I like the work I'd have to put into it.
You just have to listen to a bunch of songs.
Oh, I don't mind that.
By a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw in the windmills of your mind in there.
I know that. Why isn't it sticking in my head? Windmills of my
Because
mind.
you hate that song.
Why is it not coming to me? It'll come to me later. And
I don't
I'll
know.
be like, and then
I can sing it for you, but I'm not going to torture our audience.
yeah, it'll come to me later, and then I'll be like, God damn it, Wincentsen.
So, check out the Dusty Springfield version as usual.
I think it's your
okay. Martin Quibell says this episode made me laugh so much. It's a great dive into a great song and something by Jeff Lynne's E.L.O. at the same time. Out of interest, I never heard the solo Jeff song before, but the clip at the beginning has actually given me some interest, especially the harmonies. Well, the clip at the beginning is the good part of the song. After that, yeah, it's Down Came the Rain.
Yeah, you pretty much don't need to hear the rest of it because he just keeps singing Down Came the Rain. Well, falling all over me. Repeat.
No, he doesn't get to there. It's just Down Came the Rain.
It's Down Came the Rain.
You're thinking of a different Rain song.
I probably am. My head. Okay. Rob Eben After listening to the podcast, I searched Down Came the Rain on Amazon Music to give it a listen. The sole search result was by Brooke Shields. Yikes. Yeah. I wondered if
Yeah,
that was a song.
it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I wondered if that was a song, and I did like a 2 second search, and I guess it's a book about um, Brooke Shields in some way.
Oh. And I was about to say, I'd be careful with searches about on Brooke Shields because some of those results may have flown back in the 70s. Now we'll have you on. We'll have you on a watch list. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It was questionable back in the 70s too.
yeah. It was, but still, people went with it, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah. People.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
People with names like Weinstein. Anyway,
yeah.
Corey Gomel says, I don't know why. I just know it to be true. I know this much is true.
Oh,
Oh, there's another song for us to discuss.
I'm happy to talk about that one. I like it much
Spandau
like
Ballet, song by song podcast.
if we stick to true, I don't think I liked much. I mean, I've only heard a couple of songs, and I wasn't overwhelmed by them.
No,
Or
neither were most people.
yeah, well, obviously, yeah.
This is one of my post 2000 or post Y2K favorite Jeff Lynne songs. At least that's what my playlist counter tells me. It's pretty solidly at #1 on the yearly playlist since it came out. Tempo is perfect, and I don't have a problem with the lyrics. That's kind of rare for me to post Y2K Jeff Lynne. No, it's kind of rare for me post Y2K Jeff Lynne. I think he mentions rain once or twice. I've got less of a problem with that than you guys did. Jeff's in fine voice. What's not to love? It's better than a fart in the face. This is not cult talking. It's a really good song. When I'm listening to a playlist of 5,000 songs and all the classics and more, when this song comes on, it feels like a breath of fresh air. It puts a smile on my face and I want to sing along. So, yes, it does mention rain a couple times, but it feels less repetitive than George's cover of Got My Mind Set on You.
Well, yeah, and I will agree with you that I would much rather hear this song than to be farted in the face. I'm I'm with you there.
Somebody else mentioned My Sweet Lord. I forget.
Yeah, I think it was Mike Hudson. I don't think I think he didn't like it, although I like My Sweet Lord. Um, so these people didn't like it, but somebody liked it, and that somebody was the orchestra, starring ELO former members. On the Jeff Lynne's Blue World page there on Facebook, the orchestra clicked like. So either somebody's grandchild who runs the orchestra's social media pages either just saw it and said, "Oh, okay, cool, like," or maybe he listened to it, or she listened to it, and passed it on to the members of the orchestra, which means Mick Kaminsky might hear it, or people who were in Electric Light Orchestra Part 2, or Lewis Clark's son. They're all in the orchestra. So, um, if I wasn't so bogged down by spring, I would be much more energetic about this. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, cool.
And suddenly we get the orchestra covering Sweet Georgia Brown to start off their concerts.
Well, then that's good. We've had an impact on the world. I would be interested in hearing that. Mick Kaminsky doing the whistling part on his blue violin.
And just in case anybody was wondering, if you pay that extra $2, you actually get to hear what people had to say about Down Came the Rain and not just about Sweet
Oh,
Georgia Brown.
yeah. The expanded episode. Yeah, with
You pay your
John
Patreon fees.
and Mike Hudson and Troy and Madeline. Yeah, the expanded episode option at our Patreon site.
Yeah.
But for the people who get in their panties in a bunch because we just spent the rest of the episode covering Sweet Georgia Brown. Tomorrow you get the regular episode. It's where it went before I went all Sweet Georgia Brown on it. MJ does his Down Came the Rain. I think you hear from Troy. Yeah, Troy talks about Down Came the Rain, and Madeline, Down Came the Rain. So it's your standard issue episode. Can I go now?
I guess you can go now. I was just gonna say that one way we could make some money, I thought, was going over to other people's podcasts and going, "Hey, you got a nice podcast here." Be a shame if something would happen to it.
Be a shame if we went all Sweet Georgia Brown on it.
Yeah, so unless you want that to happen to your podcast, you might want to send some of your Patreon money our way as well.
That's right.
Because things can happen.
That's right.
Things.
Things. Dig out my slide whistle and start playing Sweet Georgia Brown for 10 or 20 minutes.
Or with your allergies, you can just kind of put the drumstick next to your nose and do it that way. At least you can provide the percussion.
Yeah, I'm picturing that in my head now. 2 drumsticks hanging out, and I'm just knocking my head back.
Next to your nose. So you go.
Well, it's an idea that I'll take into consideration.
Right. But right now, I think there's not anything else that we have to say today.
You're right. There is snot. We're done here.
And I think we're done here.
Yeah.